was trying to pick out something as beautiful as you. I don't think I did you justice.
Okay. That's it. That's our show. I'm gonna go cry.
She packed her bags, caught a Greyhound bus back to a small Texas town with next to nothing in her pocket, a failed demo deal behind her, and the charred memory of an apartment fire that had taken almost everything she owned. And within 2 years, she was standing on the American Idol stage receiving more votes than any competitor in the show's history. That moment in 2002 didn't just launch a career. It introduced the world to someone who would go on to prove, repeatedly and without apology, that the most dangerous version of Kelly Clarkson is the one who has already survived the worst. And today, in 2026, she may just be living the most fully realized chapter of her entire life. There is something almost cinematic about the arc Kelly Clarkson has traveled. Born on April 24, 1982, in Fort Worth, Texas, she grew up in Burleson, a working-class town southeast of Fort Worth, as the youngest of 3 children in a family fractured early by divorce. Her parents, Jean and Stephen Michael Clarkson, separated when Kelly was just 6 years old, a rupture that sent quiet but lasting tremors through her emotional development. She was raised primarily by her mother, and that experience of early instability, of having to adapt and carry on with less than she deserved, quietly forged the emotional precision that would later define her songwriting and her stage presence. She was a peculiar kid in the best possible way, drawn to writing poetry, fascinated by marine biology, and only pulled into music when a middle school choir teacher heard her singing to herself in a hallway and recognized something worth nurturing. That teacher, whose well-meaning interruption of an otherwise ordinary school corridor moment changed the entire trajectory of American pop music, had no idea what they had just set in motion. By the time Kelly graduated from Burleson High School in 2000, she had turned down college scholarships to chase something bigger. She moved to Los Angeles with the specific, unromantic hunger of someone who knows exactly what they want and is willing to endure whatever stands between them and it. What stood between Kelly Clarkson and success, initially, was a great deal of rejection. Failed demo deals stacked up. Then her apartment caught fire, and she lost nearly everything. Rather than interpreting that as a signal to stop, she went back to Texas, regrouped, and returned to music with a kind of quiet, recalibrated determination. In 2002, she walked into an audition for the inaugural season of American Idol, and the rest of the story is one of the most well-documented underdog narratives in entertainment history. Her coronation single, A Moment Like This, debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and broke single-week chart records that had stood for decades. Her debut album, Thankful, released in 2003, opened at #1. And then came Breakaway in 2004, a record that didn't just confirm her talent but expanded the blueprint entirely. Since You've Been Gone, Behind These Hazel Eyes, and Because of You made her one of the defining voices of the mid-2000s. Over 12 million copies sold. 2 Grammy Awards. And a new standard for what a post-reality television music career could actually look like when the artist at its center was genuinely exceptional rather than simply marketable. She never allowed the Idol origin story to become a ceiling. While others from that era faded or leaned entirely on nostalgia, Kelly kept evolving, artistically, professionally, personally. She moved between pop, country, and adult contemporary without apology. She sold over 25 million albums and more than 50 million singles worldwide. Her voice, that startling, technically precise instrument that can crack open a ballad or shred through a rock chorus with equal authority, remained the constant. Everything else kept shifting, kept growing, kept expanding. And today, in 2026, the financial and professional landscape she has built reflects that expansion in numbers that demand attention. Kelly Clarkson's estimated net worth sits at approximately $50 million, and what makes that figure compelling is not its size but its architecture. This is not a fortune built on a single revenue stream or a lucky moment of cultural saturation. It is a deliberately diversified portfolio of income built across music royalties, television, live performance, brand partnerships, publishing, and now an independent record label. Music laid the foundation, but television transformed the scale. The Kelly Clarkson Show, her Emmy-winning daytime talk show that premiered in 2019, became one of the highest-rated daytime programs on American television. Multiple Emmy wins followed, including Outstanding Entertainment Talk Show Host, an award that affirmed what viewers already knew, which is that Kelly Clarkson in a conversation is as compelling as Kelly Clarkson on a stage. Season 7, currently airing as of 2026, is confirmed to be the final season, ending on Kelly's own terms and still sitting among the most watched daytime programs in the country. That closure matters. She is choosing to exit at the top rather than wait for the tide to turn. Before the talk show came The Voice, where across multiple seasons, 14, 15, 17, and 21, she served as one of the show's most successful and beloved coaches. Her reported salary reached $14 million per season. That number alone would constitute a defining career for most people. For Kelly, it was one chapter among many. Add to that brand partnerships with Wayfair and Citizen Watches, a best-selling children's book series inspired by her daughter River Rose, and a Las Vegas residency that has become one of the most in-demand live entertainment properties currently running, and the picture becomes clear. This is a woman who has treated her career with the same strategic intelligence she has applied to every other aspect of her life. The Las Vegas story deserves its own moment. Kelly Clarkson, studio sessions at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace, the same stage that housed Celine Dion and Elton John, launched in July 2025 and runs through August 2026. The show draws from her full catalog, cycling through Stronger, Breakaway, Since You've Been Gone, Piece by Piece, and newer material like Mine and Where Have You Been, while also featuring a different live cover each night performed with her full band, a feature that has generated its own viral moments. The demand was so intense that Caesars added 10 additional 2026 dates. Her predecessor residency, Chemistry, an intimate evening with Kelly Clarkson, ran in 2023 and 2024 and grossed over $10.8 million across just 14 shows. Studio Sessions is operating at an entirely different scale. Then there is the crown jewel of this new era, High Road Records. In spring 2025, after more than 2 decades navigating the politics and creative constraints of major label deals, Kelly went independent. She launched her own record label, took ownership of her releases, and in May 2025 dropped her first independent single, Where Have You Been?, a genre-blending rock-pop R&B ballad that she debuted live at Rockefeller Plaza for the Today Show's City Concert Series and performed again during the finale of The Voice. It was not merely a song release. It was a declaration. A statement about who she intends to be in the next chapter of her career. Unbeholden, self-directed, and entirely in control. The homes she has accumulated along this journey tell their own story, one of ambition, of restlessness, and of a woman who has learned, through considerable trial, exactly where she feels safest. Her heart belongs, by her own repeated admission, to Montana. Her sprawling ranch there, valued at $17.75 million, became a legal battlefield during her divorce from Brandon Blackstock, who argued it was jointly owned. A judge ruled it belonged solely to Kelly, though she agreed to pay Blackstock approximately $908,000, representing 5% of its appraised value, to settle that particular dispute. She kept the ranch. She has called it her forever home, the place where her children feel most like themselves, removed from cameras and industry noise and the particular exhaustion of public life. It is her sanctuary in the most complete sense of that word. In California, after selling her massive 20,000-plus square foot Nashville mansion in 2021 for $6.3 million, a property with 7 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, a private dock, a saltwater pool, and 2 spas, she purchased a $5.4 million home in the exclusive Toluca Lake area of Los Angeles. 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, traditional-style architecture from 1936, an outdoor pool, a tennis court, and a separate guest house. Charming by any reasonable standard. Almost modest by the standards she has previously inhabited. She and Brandon had earlier shared a custom-built farmhouse in Encino valued at nearly $10 million, an 8-bedroom marvel with 3 kitchen islands, a La Cornue range, a movie theater, a home gym, a 2-story guest house, and an outdoor pizza oven. Since The Kelly Clarkson Show moved production to New York City in 2023, she has been renting in Manhattan, keeping herself close to work while the Montana ranch remains the emotional center of her geography. Across all of it, Texas, Tennessee, California, New York, Montana, she has built, sold, and reinvested her way through the American real estate landscape with the same decisive energy she brings to everything else. But behind all of it, the $50 million, the Emmy Awards, the Las Vegas sellouts, the Montana sunsets, runs the most emotionally complex thread in Kelly Clarkson's life, the story of her marriage, her divorce, and the grief that followed. She and Brandon Blackstock met in 2006 during rehearsals for the Academy of Country Music Awards. Nothing romantic developed immediately. Years passed. They reconnected, the relationship deepened quickly. Brandon proposed in December 2012, and they married in Tennessee in October 2013. For a time it looked like the story her fans had always wanted for her. They welcomed daughter River Rose in June 2014 and son Remington Alexander in April 2016. Anyone who has paid even passing attention to Kelly over the years knows that her children are not merely important to her, they are the organizing principle of her entire life. She has said it in interviews, on her talk show, in radio appearances, and in the quiet, unscripted moments that occasionally surface through the noise of celebrity culture. Motherhood is the role she holds above every other. But problems developed quietly behind the family photographs and red carpet appearances. In June 2020, Kelly filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. What followed was a protracted, painful, and very public legal battle. Disputes over the Montana ranch, financial disagreements, and questions about Brandon's role as her manager. Court filings kept the dissolution in headlines for nearly 2 years. By March 2022, the marriage was legally over. Kelly channeled the emotional wreckage into Chemistry, a deeply personal album that moved through heartbreak, anger, confusion, and something approaching acceptance. It became both a creative release and a form of public processing, a document of pain made beautiful and shared. Then came a twist that no one anticipated. In August 2025, Brandon Blackstock died following a more than 3-year battle with melanoma. The news was shocking in the way that only unexpected deaths can be, not because the grief was simple, but because it was complicated. He was the father of her children. Suddenly, the years of legal maneuvering and financial disputes felt irrelevant against the reality that River and Remy had lost their father. Kelly stepped away from public life immediately, focusing entirely on helping her children navigate an incomprehensible loss. When she returned to her talk show weeks later, she opened with a performance of the weekend's Blinding Lights that needed no verbal explanation. It said everything the words couldn't. It was a reminder, delivered through music as it always is with Kelly, that underneath the empire and the accolades is a woman who feels things with the full force of her considerable emotional depth. Where does her personal life stand now, in 2026? She is single, and she is refreshingly unashamed of it. In May 2025, during an appearance on Today with Jenna and Friends, she told Jenna Bush Hager that she was neither actively pursuing a relationship nor categorically ruling one out. She was simply very busy. She laughed while saying it, but the honesty beneath the lightness resonated widely. She spoke about the logistical reality of being a single mother of 2, about rushing from the show to baseball practice, about trying to be genuinely present for her children in the hours they share together. In November 2024, she revealed on a radio appearance that River and Remington had repeatedly and explicitly asked her not to date anyone new, not out of malice but out of that particular, ferocious love that children direct at the parent who has held everything together. Kelly told them she loved them completely but also needed love and affection of her own. Only she could make that disclosure simultaneously hilarious and tender. In January 2026, performing at a celebrity golf tournament in Florida, she introduced her 2009 hit, My Life Would Suck Without You, with a dry, perfectly timed line to the crowd. This next song, hopefully you're in a relationship where your life would suck without them. I am not. Here we go. The audience erupted. Because that is the specific gift Kelly Clarkson has always possessed, the ability to take something that should sting and transform it, in real time, into something the whole room shares. There was some speculation in 2025 about a possible romantic connection with British singer Seal, following a notably warm appearance together on her talk show in 2023 and reported private dinner meetings in late 2025. Neither confirmed anything. Both have remained quiet on the subject, which is entirely consistent with how Kelly navigates her private life, with fierce protectiveness beneath the public comedy. What emerges from the full picture is not a story of survival, though survival is part of it. It is a story of accumulation, not just of wealth or property or professional accomplishment, but of self-knowledge. The woman who exists in 2026 has been through the kind of emotional and professional crucible that reshapes people permanently. She has lost a marriage, grieved an ex-husband, raised 2 children largely alone through years of public scrutiny, launched an independent label at a point in her career when most artists would be consolidating rather than building, and she has done all of it while maintaining the one quality that has defined her from the beginning: the refusal to perform a version of herself that is not real. That authenticity, unguarded, sometimes uncomfortably direct, always emotionally present, is the actual foundation of everything she has built. It is what made audiences vote for her in 2002. It is what made the talk show work. It is what fills the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace night after night. It is what makes a Rye golf tournament quip about being single land like a gut punch wrapped in a punchline. She has never learned to perform distance. She has never wanted to. And in an entertainment landscape that increasingly rewards polish over feeling, Kelly Clarkson's radical insistence on being fully, messily, generously human remains her most remarkable and enduring achievement. The second half of 2026 stretches ahead of her, studio sessions running through August, high road records continuing to develop, her children growing up in the shadow of both loss and love, and somewhere in Montana, a ranch waiting quietly for whenever she needs to come home. She is not finished. Not even close. And whatever she builds next will carry, as everything she has ever made has carried, the unmistakable signature of someone who was never going to stop no matter what it cost her to keep going.